Now I'm going to share with you a project I did in my classroom this year. The project title was Pirate Park. The driving question is can we develop green spaces in our community? Our big idea was that students would design the soccer field complex that is located near the library and high school. The project lasted 4 weeks and it was fourth grade with the subject area of math. The core standards that we focused on were perimeter and area, multiplication and division, and measuring length. In order to be successful with those standards, students needed to understand measuring yards and feet with a tape measure. They had to understand measurement conversions, and they needed to have background knowledge of multi-digit addition and subtraction. The three learning pillars that were embedded in this project were creativity and innovation, which was where students could learn to think creatively in response to a wide variety of challenges. They were able to invent, try out, and revise designs and solutions. Students were encouraged to take risks, learn from failures as well as successes, and value the diverse perspectives of others. Problem solving. Students were to work on open-ended problems and issues that required them to clarify and analyze situations, explore the solutions, and evaluate the results. And the final pillar was teamwork, where students worked in teams to conduct investigations, synthesize data, and communicate results. They learned to give and receive feedback and to negotiate agreements, facilitate meetings, and take on a variety of leadership roles. Students also worked independently and were assessed for the individual contributions they made to the product. This project is connected to the real world because students were able to create designs for a youth soccer field where participants and fans could get a full experience of a sports complex. Students had the opportunity to include things that interested them into the community space. Many of these students participate in youth soccer leagues. Therefore, their designs reflected things they would like to see in the space, such as concession stands, fencing, water fountains, and storage areas, along with many other things. Resources that were provided were dimensions of the soccer fields. This ensured that each group was using the correct dimensions. Prior to beginning planning, I had the city engineer and excavator that worked on the land come and talk with the class. They walked us through the dimensions of the field. They talked about where water lines ran so my students could fully understand how the space could be used. Also, in preparation for our project, we took a walking field trip over to the soccer fields so the students could really visualize the space and get an idea for the amount of land they had to work with. Once we were able to see what we were working with, we took some sample measurements of things on our playground that they might want to see in their designs. Student project teams consisted of 5 to 6 students each. They started by creating a poster of their design as a prototype. Once they had a completed product, they then used ThingLink to show a digital prototype. Inside of their prototypes, they included things such as soccer fields, buildings, walkways, and bleachers. They were required to find the perimeter and area of each of their items in the design. They had to measure the model to make sure that they would fit into the space correctly. Then they learned multiplication and division and how it had to be used to find exact dimensions. Prototypes were created to scale, and students had to problem solve to make all of their designs included in the final product fit. In the picture, you will see that students started with a poster prototype. Each of the papers on the poster explained the perimeter and area of the item that is listed. They then took this information and created their digital prototype. Once students transferred their prototypes to become digital, it allowed them to share examples and links to better demonstrate their final project ideas. Now you will see an example of a final presentation. There will be 2 videos. One will be showcasing the students' work that is put into a PBL. The second is a short clip from one team's final presentation.